Well, a warm welcome to Eastview Baptist Church family and any other viewers. My name is Viv Coleman. I'm an enthusiastic volunteer at Eastview these days, having retired from full-time pastoral leadership some years ago. Well, I hope you guys are doing okay in this difficult time of extended lockdown. Perhaps all the more challenging because of the months of freedom we've enjoyed so far this year. Personally, I'm feeling quite weary. There's no good reason, because I have a warm home, good food, loving company, and plenty to do. But somehow I'm feeling dry, a bit lonely, perhaps even hopeless. It's a desert season. My daily reading last Friday was headed up deserts. The series has been about Celtic Christianity and its appreciation of the created world. Apparently the Christians of the 6th century often sought out desert places because they saw this as following the example of Jesus, whose wilderness encounters were times of testing that led to a new experience of the Spirit's power. That got me thinking about deserts in the Bible. And I realised that they were often places of unexpected blessing, not always times of desolation, as the metaphor implies. In the wilderness, we see promises being revealed, hope being awakened, and real encounters with God occurring. We see the provision of sanctuary, fire, water, bread, and even the gentle whisper of the Lord. Apparently, one of the Hebrew words for desert, midbar, is derived from the root word debar, which is Hebrew used to describe God speaking audibly to his people. And we see that in the ministries of both John the Baptist and Jesus, who began with time in the desert. Perhaps the desert can be a place God uses to drive us deeper into his purpose. Here's what the commentator said in my reading. Vulnerable, we're deprived of our normal comforts. We have to face our weaknesses. And stripped of essentials, we recognise our need of God. Perhaps the desert can be a place of a new encounter with God's purpose and power. One of the most inspiring Christian books I ever read was this one, The Dream Giver. It's a parable that tells the story of a man called Nobody who lived in the land of familiar. He was content with his boring life until one day he woke up to the fact that God had given him a dream. And the book has a number of compelling metaphors, but the chapter that came to mind this week was the one called The Wasteland. Let me read a little bit. Ordinary got hot and tired, then hungry and thirsty. His feet were sore and the trail was hard to see. He called out for help, but nobody came, though he did find a spring and some strange tasting fruit. He felt lost and alone, and then he saw a shimmery shape in the branches of a reedy tree. She explained that her name was Faith, and that she had come to help. Ordinary was too depressed to understand, so Faith headed on across the desert. Then he reflected that while he'd been with her, he'd felt just a little bit more positive, a little more hopeful than before. He couldn't see where she'd gone, so he climbed the tree and saw her way in the distance, and he decided to follow her towards the dream. Faith is here to help us too. And it seems to me that even in lockdown, she teaches us to sing, "Blessed be your name, when I'm found in the desert place, when I walk through the wilderness, blessed be your name." I'm resolved to be more grateful for this desert time, to be real with God about how I'm feeling, and surely to hear from him. Shalom, friends.